Alright guys, today we're working on removing the front windshield trim from my 1969 Dodge Charger. And just as many of the other cars were built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they all have these little clips that hold on to the trim. I took off one of the trim pieces just to see how it goes. Well, it's just like my Fords, for example. They worked exactly the same way. And all I have is this tool. I think it's from Lyle that I bought off of one of the normal websites where you buy all of your car parts. And it's basically just got this little hook that you need to get up underneath of the trim. And basically you just kind of come in here and feel your way until you find one of the clips here. And what you're trying to do is get right underneath here and just kind of use the tool to move the spring metal out and away from the clip. So let's see if you can find one. Use the flashlight because I can't see anything. Maybe you can use a little screwdriver to kind of see where you're at. And these have been on the car for a long time. I think this is still the original windshield and glass, and it's going to be replaced anyway. So you can do the first clip is here in the corner. And if I can get underneath of it, which I think I did, and that releases the first clip. So you're trying to get this part of the tool right underneath the clip here. You can close up here. Trying to come in like this with your tool and basically get this to move forward like that so that you can get the molding out of the clip. So here we go. Sometimes there might be adhesive or sealant or caulking or whatever in there. Maybe rust, maybe whatever goop they'd put in there over the years that's holding it in place. So you have to kind of fight with it a bit. So I just take the little screwdriver, try to get underneath of it so I can see where the next clip of it is, and it's right here on this curve here. So I can take my tool. I'm just gonna run it across and the molding just pops out. So if we go to the next one, that's what I'm kind of blind today. So I'm using the flashlight, this little screwdriver. The next one's here, and they're probably about every couple of inches from there on. So there's the next one. That just popped right out. Take our tool, try to find the next one. And go from there. If you can't get it from one side, then you can try to get in there and get it from the other side. Like I just did there, I couldn't get it from one side, so I just popped it off with the other side. If you have a newer rubber weather stripping, then I'm sure it's a lot easier because it's a little bit more flexible. But this one's been on here for many years, and of course it's pretty hard. So this one, I think it popped back in. Unfortunately, it popped back in. So go back and pop it back out, I guess. So if you have crappy paint like I do, then you can also go from the top here. See if you can pop it out like that. Of course, you won't want to do that with your freshly painted car because you would just screw your paint up. So we've got basically one half of it free. So we'll move over to the other side and see if we can't do the same thing on the other side. See here, the side trim is still on here, but we're not going to worry about that for the time being. Just see if we can get this top trim free. The clip should be in basically the same place. It's on the other side. So you shouldn't have to fight with it too much to find the clips. So I think I got one, which is this one here. So we're just gonna run around and see what I can get free here. It's kind of a pain. So especially since this thing's been on the car for so long. So we got that one. Get in there. All right. So I think I have one more clip somewhere in this area. I need some motivation. That was it. So that was the top molding. As you can see, same clips like on the side molding here. They just kind of the standard spring metal clips that all the manufacturers used back in the day. So I'll see if I can get you up closer for this one. And we'll hit the side molding. And do the same thing. So if you can kind of pull on it a little bit as you go, it kind of helps. But I don't think it was made to be easy. It's more ease of assembly back in the, it's kind of like the new cars, how they put them together. Nowadays they're all put together with plastic clips, so they're made to be put together quickly with those plastic clips, but once they get assembled, they're assembled, so they don't worry about how easy it is to take it back apart. It's more about the assembly. So one clip here, one clip there, and now I can just pull the molding off. So that's how easy it is. And there's just 1, 2, 3 clips here that need to be pried forward to make the molding come off. So if we can move back just a little bit, try to get this bottom one out. And I'm not sure how it's secured, but it's probably the same. Right on this front bottom one, it's a little bit more difficult to get in there because they've got some kind of glue that they use to, I guess, seal the bottom of the windshield. So it's harder to get in there with the tool. There we go. I took the screwdriver and I just pried it up a little bit, like I'll do for this next one. And then you can kind of see where the clip is at. This one is right here. Let's take my finger, everything's dusty anyway. Take my finger, and you can kind of mark where the clips are at, which makes them easier to find with the tool. I think the next one's about here. So once you get your marks done, then you kind of know where to go. And you can just go in there and release the clip. That one released itself somehow. Alright, so that was free and off. You got these little tabs here on the side, so you need to watch out for those, that you don't bend those off. So we'll head over to the other side, take our tools with us. Don't need much, like I said, little flathead screwdriver, a molding tool, and a flashlight is helpful, but not absolutely necessary. So, and then we'll go in here, see if we can find our first clip. I think it's about here, round about here. So this one broke with the tool, so we have to replace that clip, but I'm not too worried about that. It's just one clip, and I'm sure I think I have a stash of them from my Torino. They like to be about the same, so that's not a big deal. And of course, you can buy those new at any of the usual parts vendors, so not really a big deal as far as that goes. We're gonna get this a little bit freer from that little tab that's on the side, and a little bit freer from this rubber gasket. Like I said, there seems to be like goop all up in there and dirt and whatnot, so a bit difficult to get underneath it. So I think I may have gotten it. Sure seems to be. Of course, you want to be careful with your trim, because the more you pry on it and bend on it and whatnot, the more you have to fix it afterwards. And of course, you all want to do the least amount of work possible, especially on a car like this. So the next clip is right there. So if I can see if I can get underneath it. This one seems to be a bit more difficult than the other side. So we'll start down here in the middle. So we can kind of pull it up as we go. And I think this is one of those that needs to be worked on from the back side as well. Just because of all the goop that's in there. Why are you fighting me? Alright, since this side's so gooey underneath, it seems to be fighting me in because my paint is crap anyway. I'm just kind of going underneath this with a bigger screwdriver and trying to loosen it up. Of course, if you have nice paint, you don't want to be doing this, but my paint is far gone, of course. And you don't want to be prying up against the trim. You want to just be kind of pushing it gently. Lots of patience. You're just trying to get it out of the goo so that you can go back with the tool and release your clips. Like I just did there. Now see, the big problem was all the goo that was in here and here, basically just in the middle. I'm sure they had a leak or whatever in there, and that's why they filled it up full of goo, and that's why I had problems getting the trim off. So of course this little tab here on the side. Tried to pull the screw out, but it's just rounded out, so we'll have to remove that forcefully. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So now the next step will be, for me anyway, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but get a few different ways that you can remove the windshield. What I'll do is, because I'm by myself, I don't have anybody to push up against the windshield, what I'll try to do is score the rubber as far back as possible so that I can remove it, and then at some point in time I should be able to push the windshield out by myself. So be right back. Alrighty, so I'll be back. Got a nice sharp razor blade, brand new one, and I'm just going to try to pull this down on the side of this weather stripping. Like I said, because I'm by myself, you have to resort to measures that you wouldn't normally do if you had somebody here. But this weather stripping's toast anyway. It's been on here for a long time, so it's just going to be replaced. Maybe someone out there is cringing, saying, "Oh, you should replace that. That's brand new, or that's OEM or original or whatever." But you know what? Putting the windshield back in with this gasket, I don't know, that's going to be a pretty good fight. So, got the side of the windshield pretty much free and clear. So we'll move on to the top. Maybe there's a better tool for this. If there is, then I sure don't have it. I'm not trying to destroy this windshield because of my location and problems that I've had previously with people selling windshields. I will be keeping this windshield until I have a replacement, just to make sure that it's correct to the car. Because, for example, on my Continental, I ordered a windshield and it came in and it was fairly quick, and the guy was confident that it was correct, but I didn't have the car yet. I knew that the car needed the windshield, but I didn't have the car yet. So I got the windshield, and a few weeks later, I got the car. And took the windshield out of the car, and got some guy to come to help me put it in the car. We determined rather quickly that the windshield was not correct to the car. So we had a bit of a back and forth with the guy that delivered the windshield, and he was, of course, insistent that the windshield was correct. And then we took some pictures, the measurements, and a bit more discussion back and forth about how we're going to resolve the problem and whatnot. And he's like, I don't know, I can get you a windshield, but it might take some time. And unfortunately, I had to resort to threatening him with legal counsel. And once I did that, he seemed to respond very quickly. So, and I don't normally like to do that. If you pay money for something and you give them all the information, like the car's model and make and VIN and pictures and whatever, then you sort of expect for whoever you're buying it from to be correct. So, he was able to get another windshield, and that windshield actually is correct, and we were able to lay the new windshield on the old windshield to compare it. And that's basically the reason why I'm keeping the old windshield for this, at least until the new one arrives, so that I can make a comparison. So maybe I will order the windshield way before I need it, just so that I can recycle the old windshield. So I can maybe get into new windshields or baby food jars or whatever. In China, where everything is made, because nobody makes anything in bigger countries anymore. Everything is made in China, or well, second or third. So we now have the side of the windshield mostly free, I would say. And take off as much as we can, just so that we can keep from having to fight with it. Now, if you have a good windshield, of course, be careful with it. If you're just trying to replace the gasket, for example. As long as I keep the general shape of the windshield, I really don't care. So, the windshield, it's not going to move the way it looks because they've already got sealant underneath of it somewhere. Or maybe the corners need to be freed up a little bit more. That's what it looks like at the moment. See, if this was actually glued in, like, say for example my Torino, which is another story for another day. But if it was glued in, then I can go with the multi-tool behind it and just kind of buzz it out. Which I'm sure I could do on this too, if there's sealant in there. But just kind of cut it out slowly, patiently. Yes, there isn't sealant in there. So I put the windshield in, they did a halfway decent job. Especially in these corners up here. It's all full of whatever I put in there. Luckily, it's not that hard urethane window sealant they use nowadays. It seems to be a little bit softer. So, where's our tool? So we'll use our tool for kind of scraping this out of here a bit. It's kind of correct for that, I guess. But it's not. It's correct, but it's not. You know, kind of use whatever you have. It's like every tool has a hammer side, for example. You shouldn't be in here with your screwdriver. But I am, because this windshield's junk. You're wearing safety glasses, earring protection, safety clothes, safety cup for your family jewels. So you know we did it. That's why you shouldn't be doing this on a good windshield, because exactly what just happened can happen. I'm not trying to pry the windshield out, I'm just trying to pry the adhesive away from the glass a little bit. Get it unstuck. Just a little bit. Because weather stripping seems to be holding it in fairly good. And the glue that the caulking that's underneath of it is doing the rest, of course. So, do not pry on your windshield like I am, because I'm an idiot. See? I am an idiot. It's been proven. Since this is fighting so much, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the bottom out. See if we can get it to move some there. Since it's being so stubborn. Now, like I said, this windshield's been in here for forever. Well, it looks. It's got the ghosting around the outside. You know, that milkiness. Like a car has been sitting around forever like this one was. I don't actually know where it was. Or where it was hiding. I know where it came from, but I don't know the story behind it, unfortunately. But I'm sure it said outside for a good long while somewhere. And yeah, so now it's going to be restored. Instead of turned into Toyotas or whatever, Kias. Or Chevrolets. Since they get a lot of their stuff from China now too. I wonder if there's any US manufacturer that actually still produces their steel in the US of A. Maybe Ford. Or not, or maybe they just buy the big rolls of steel from China. Because it's cheaper. After they send all of your old cars to China to be recycled, then they make big rolls of steel in China to make your US car again. Does that make sense? No. Of course not. So, I may, if it doesn't want to get out, come out. Break out the multi-tool and just kind of get underneath it and kind of break the bond on the top. So we'll do that just 1 second. All right, so we got the multi-tool out. It's basically just a big knife that kind of vibrates back and forth. And we'll go around the top of the edge of the windshield and try to break this adhesive. Let me switch to the other side. Seems to be coming, but it's in there. Move you around to the other side so you can see something. See what I'm doing. Alright, so after cutting through all the adhesive at the top of the windshield, we've got it loose. And she seems to be trying to come out of the bottom of the gasket, so that's good. Something positive. Of course, working on a muscle car like this is always positive, but you know what I mean. You'd like to have successes and not failures. So now we've got the windshield out, and all of this cracking here was not done by me, just so that you know. We have a nail from something or for something. So I'll back you up just a bit, and if I can take the windshield out from this side, this is the non-cracked side. So there you go. That's how you remove the trim and how you don't remove the windshield. But that's how you could remove the windshield if you wanted to. But it's not how you're supposed to do it. So in this weather stripping here, you can see she's been in here for a long time. Just like the dash, you can see it's rusty. But I'll take that out and get it sandblasted, and then it will live to see another day. I need both hands for this because I'm a wuss. So what's the condition of our dash area here? Well, we've got some goo in there and some service rust, lots of crap. Lots of crap as usual, like you would expect. Some more goo and whatnot. But other than that, our A-pillars look to be good. The bottom rail where the windshield is glued onto, as you can see, there's lots of sealant in there. The bottom rail's not too bad. This is a little crusty, but I think that'll clean up pretty good. Seems to be solid. This A-pillar is good as well. So all in all, looks to be okay. I need to figure out what goes in here, because I obviously don't have that on this car. And the middle was good as well. So yeah, well, that's how you remove the trim on a 1969 or 1968 to 1970 Dodge Charger. And you got to see me taking out the windshield as well, which is just an added bonus for you. So subscribe, like, do whatever you like. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.